Right now, the Las Vegas Raiders are in the middle of an angle
that
I don't fully comprehend or understand at all. Now, the big news of the Raiders last week was that Tom Brady, the man who literally started the dynastic run for the New England Patriots against the Oakland Raiders at the time in the middle of a snowstorm with the tuck rule, now has a percentage of the Raiders because he and Mark Davis were business partners with the Aces in Las Vegas just a year ago. So Tom Brady is in the ownership committee of the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders now find themselves in a predicament.
Yeah.
They signed Jimmy Garoppolo to this $70-some million deal. They got their guy. This guy knows McDaniel's offense. When he's on the field, he's a winner. Now, he does have a little bit of injury concerns, but obviously they're going to protect him, and he's going to be a perfect fit for this Raiders team. Turns out that is not the case.
At all.
No, it's not.
He showed up. They got shoulder surgery. Remember, that held up the whole trade process, which inevitably led to him ending up at the Raiders long past whenever we thought Jimmy G was going to be moved from the San Francisco 49ers, because every time he is on the field, he does win. Shoulder injury, though, slowed things down, they said. I guess it wasn't just a shoulder injury. This foot injury that he had to get surgery on immediately upon arriving at the Raiders had them change an addendum in the contract, which basically says if he can't play next year, they don't have to pay him anything. They're just hoping that the foot will be able to recover by training camp is their prediction, but nobody else has said, yeah, he'll be back by training camp. What a clusterfuck of a situation. And this is literally everything that's ever said about Jimmy G. And now it was kind of happening behind the scenes. There was real no media about it. So Florio and Pro Football Talk are very excited that they kind of unearthed this particular thing. But the Raiders might be without a quarterback unless
What's that?
Jackie Moon.
Whoa.
Jackie Moon, Tom Brady is going to play for him. I guess we have to have that conversation at this point.
Well, and if Tom Brady is playing for him and you're a Raiders fan, you're so happy that Jimmy G didn't have to, do any physical, and he came in and basically fucked up their entire team. But also, has this ever happened before? Like, is there ever been
$72 million feels like a lot of money for this to potentially fuck up.
As a free agent, too?
That's what I was like. How does this happen?
Yeah.
Like, this is the NFL. They're doctors and everything. Like, how does this happen? I mean,
but they knew. The Raiders knew. That's why they changed.
Well, they're
the contract.
saying they knew. They changed the contract. I don't think they knew.
To an extent, maybe, but not like, oh, wow. Like, yeah, we knew his foot was a little banged up. You're going to have surgery, and you might miss the start of training camp. Like, there's no way they're paying him and signing up for that, 3 months ago.
This is crazy. This is crazy. No, I don't think they knew when he first got there. It pops up on the physical. Oh, buddy, you need surgery, by the way. So
what? We're gonna have to rework this thing.
This is crazy.
Addendum G, I believe, is what Mike Florio said. I've never seen this on a. You know how we had the watching film hours clause in Kyler that we all said? What is this? Addendum G, a key waiver that potentially allows the Raiders to walk away from the deal without any financial obligation due to Garoppolo's foot injury. That was never reported when Garoppolo went to the Raiders. Garoppolo's shoulder's good. You know how we know his shoulder's good? Because he just signed for $70-some million with the Raiders. He's good. Jimmy G's with the Raiders. Devontae Adams says he doesn't necessarily agree with what the front office is doing.
Yeah.
Whoa. He doesn't like Jimmy G? Is that what's going on? Turns out he might have found out, hey, we don't know if Jimmy G he might have Hoyer.
What?
You might have.
How's that sound?
Guy that just got drafted.
What? Strafolsky?
And Devontae, because I was wondering why Devontae was openly saying, I don't agree with what's going on here. It's like, yo, Devontae, none of us agree with what's going on at the team we're at.
Right.
This doesn't need, you're getting paid a lot of money. Don't necessarily need that type of shit out if you're the Raiders or if you're Devontae. If Devontae, which I assume he did know about this before it even comes out, Devontae's like, we don't even have a fucking quarterback right now. What are we even talking about? That completely changes my whole mindset on what Devontae was saying in that interview last week completely.
Make a lot of sense. Like, we're not even on the same page. We don't even have a guy that can start. I'm quite sure when Devontae went there, the quarterback talk was the big issue. I'm quite sure they promised him a good quarterback. Jimmy G is an okay quarterback. Jimmy G hurt is nobody.
That's who they got. Hoyer.
Like,
and who
if
else?
he's not 100%.
Who else do they have?
The kid they drafted, I think, was the kid from Purdue.
Aiden O'Connell.
Yes.
Okay, maybe a dog. We have no idea. Josh McDaniel's offense, so the reason why Jimmy G was such a good signing is because he knows it.
Yes.
So in this offense isn't necessarily the easiest to pick up. If you go back to the New England Patriots, whenever people would just sign up to go to that offense, it was like, yeah, it'll work. And then some guys, it didn't work because the offense is a lot of decision-making on the fly, seeing the same thing, everybody being on the same page. That's why Jimmy's a perfect fit for McDaniels. Now Jimmy's out. We got Hoyer in there. He knows it.
Yeah.
But Hoyer's Hoyer.
Right.
Exactly.
No
Very
offense
old.
to Hoyer.
Yeah, also got hurt last year when he did come in and play.
Then Aiden O'Connell and Chase Garbers. I mean, I'm assuming Aiden O'Connell will be able to pick it up. Purdue creates fucking astronauts. He probably has a big brain. So maybe he'll be able to pick up the offense quickly. And Chase Garbers, he'll be able to figure it out as well.
Yeah.
Of course.
But you got Tom Brady sitting there potentially in the ownership group. That's going to be a hard thing not to be like, hey, Tom. Now, I don't think
Is he allowed?
I think he would have to suspend it for a year, I think.
Yeah, because that was the conversation when we were talking about the Dolphins and Brady, how it worked with him being.
Yeah, because
the
like
owner.
Peyton allegedly was offered a percentage of a team. I think the Titans, whenever he was a free agent, he ended up going to the Broncos instead. But that was all rumor. I don't know if any of that was ever real. And I've never asked Peyton. We should ask him the next time he's on, just because the only time it comes up is whenever this type of situation happens. Go ahead.
Elway was offered a percentage while he was playing with the Broncos because there's always that story like instead of doing that, he took a contract and now that would have been worth this many billion.
Yeah, so it's fascinating. Like, why wouldn't Tom, newly single,
Yeah.
In a dome,
Devontae Adams,
Right.
Gronk, right?
Gronk, yeah. I mean, he can mentor Michael Mayer,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
He come,
Gronk
yeah.
could still
Yeah,
play
who knows?
football.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Hunter Renfro.
They all know Josh McDaniel's shit.
Yep.
Sorry, I love Tom Brady, but I don't know if he still got it.
No.
Power.
heard this
Not still there.
I mean, we
Like,
did watch last season.
Come on now, guys.
What?
Now, it sound good,
They were not good
but
last
17 weeks,
Yeah, they were terrible.
Tom.
Everybody on the sideline, too, was terrible, though. That entire team was terrible last year.
Yeah.
How do we not know that Jimmy Garoppolo's foot was a real thing? We thought this Raiders Jimmy G deal was done. The shoulder was the only issue. Now we're finding out there was an addendum that was added by Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk that basically said if his foot doesn't recover, they don't have to pay him a damn thing. Signing bonus became salary. They gave him $0. How did this fly under the radar, and where are we with that whole thing?
So let's start at the beginning. So the 49ers, at some point during the season, first they come out and say he's got a list, Frank, he's going to have surgery. And then about a week later, they say, great news, Jimmy G does not need surgery. Awesome. So then it's like, all right, well, if he doesn't need surgery, could he theoretically be able to be the backup in the playoffs? And essentially, best case scenario would have been he could have been the backup in the Super Bowl. Obviously, they didn't get there. That point was moot. Then he just kind of goes on and everything is fine. Get the free agency. Remember, you agree to terms with a team, but you don't sign until there's a physical. And every year, there's like one or two guys where things take a little longer. Maybe the press conference gets delayed and you're like, something's going on. This was one of those. So if you remember, he wasn't announced and signed at the time we all thought. It was actually the next day. And everyone sort of said the same thing. It's going to be fine. That's what I was told. That's what everyone was told. And it really and truly might be fine. But it was not, but it was very complicated. He needed surgery. That is what the Raiders doctors had found. And he ended up having an additional surgery. And the contract was adjusted to give the team protection in case things don't go as well as they want and hope. That is basically where we are now. So that's why he's not on the field for OTAs.
They agreed a deal before doing the physical or pending physical?
Yes. No. You agree to a deal before the physical, and then you fly in, you do the physical, and almost always it's fine. Or if it's not fine, the team has a decision. Like, remember Larry Ogunjobi 2 years ago? Signed a big deal. I think at that point, the foot wasn't where the Bears wanted it to be, and they were like, no deal. And then he ended up signing a one-year deal with the Steelers, playing great and re-upping there. But at that point, the Bears decided, you know what? We are not comfortable with this deal based on his health. We are backing out, which they are allowed to do because it's not signed. The Raiders decided, okay, we want Jimmy G. We just need to give ourselves monetary protection in case, he's not where it needs to be. But also gives color to why the Raiders looked hard at quarterbacks in this draft.
And also why Devontae maybe said, I don't know what they're fucking doing here in an interview a week ago because they might not have a single quarterback worth a damn on the roster. Aiden O'Connell might be a guy.
Could
Yeah.
be.
He could be a guy.
Be a stud.
And Hoyer's been in that offense a long time.
Yeah.
He can still sling that thing.
Wild Hoyer is a man.
But this also explains why Hoyer is there, because you need someone to basically run the offense at the minimum in the spring and maybe in training camp too. So Hoyer could be very good for that.
Ian, how did this stay like kind of under the radar for the last couple months? We know this happened months ago. How are we just finding out about this?
Yeah, insider.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. And, like, I feel like I'm pretty transparent on the show, right? And in life, but mostly on the show. I was kind of annoyed, honestly.
Really?
I knew something wasn't right. I remember his press conference took an extra day, and I just, you always want to, like, investigate everything, even though 75% of the things turn into nothing. And I just kind of was, once he signed, in my head, I was like, okay, like, this is going to be fine. What I should have done, honestly, is say, what else is there that I don't know?
Self-scout.
And it would have uncovered the surgery.
This is smart. This is self-scout. You still get better. That's good. Top of the game, still getting better.
Right.
It's only when you get to the top of the mountain that you really have to start climbing. This seems to be an interesting thing with old Tom Brady getting a percentage of the ownership of the Raiders. So you're telling me in a text message you just got, maybe from a golf course or another golf course, depending upon what religion the golf course is, I guess is what we would guess on who is texting you or whatever. But Tom,
No, it's my wife, who also, by the way, has just started playing golf. So there you go.
probably going to be great at it if I had to guess. She seemingly kicks all the asses.
Does everything.
All of them. She seemingly does. So I hope she gets great at golf. Whenever you think about Tom Brady being a percentage owner, do we not have a Jackie Moon situation potentially on deck here if this foot can't handle itself? Because I naturally, as a person who's invested in a business, if I could potentially be the answer to an issue that is very, very important to my business, wouldn't that be a natural thing to think about? And we're not, I assume everybody's doing this right now, just saying he's going to be owner, player, coach, halftime entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe you can be owner. You can't be owner, player, coach. There are rules against it. I believe the other owners would have to okay it. I'm sure they wouldn't. Now, I believe. Let me just say this.
They might.
first.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, why would you allow? First of all, the precedent's not great because then, like, Dan Snyder might come down and be like, "Cool, I'm playing quarterback." Like, you don't want that, But
Jerry.
That would be sweet.
so let me say,
Yeah, it would be sick. What do I own one of these
I
teams?
believe.
I'd love to see
I believe.
What if
Jimmy Garoppolo-
Jerry and Dan?
I want
Jim Irsay,
to catch a pass on something.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones versus Jim Irsay.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Put them on the
in
fucking
the trenches.
Put them on the Sunday Night Football
Yeah.
graphic. Old school.
This
Jim.
actually is a great idea.
Think outside the box. Ian.
Jim
That's what I'm
plays
saying.
tackle. Jerry Jones rushing the passer.
I am mind blown that these owners, the same ones that make a lot of the rule changes that we see, said at one point, "Yeah, we need to make sure none of us can play."
Yeah.
Because you would think a lot of them in that room would be like, "Hey, we own teams so that we can fucking play,
Yeah.
don't we? Ain't that what we're doing?" I didn't know that. So they could suspend, I guess, the percentage because wasn't it a rumor? And I don't know. You might know if it's real or not. Peyton was offered like a percentage of the Titans whenever he was a free agent. Maybe John Elway was offered a percentage potentially at some.
Yeah. And Elway, so Elway is the famous one because everyone's like, oh, well, he turned it down, basically turned it down and lost a lot of money. No, he could not have. I believe he would have been a player, and so he could not have owned a piece of the team and been a player. But I believe Jimmy Garoppolo will be fine. I believe the Raiders think Jimmy Garoppolo will be fine. At the end of the day, this will probably be nothing. However, since you asked, if Brady wanted to come back, which I do not think he's going to for personal reasons, for professional reasons, because he is retired, if he wanted to come back, he could theoretically sell his piece of the team and unretire. He is a free agent, so he could just sign there. I believe there are personal reasons that he is retired, and I believe he is going to stay that way.
Okay, well, we'll be excited to watch it all unfold. Hopefully, Jimmy will be healthy, you know, because he agreed to I'll be back, and then you can give me like $22 million or something like that was the signing bonus that he pushed into salary that is dependent upon him playing.
Yeah.
All the money's over there. Hopefully, he's better than we found out he might not be just yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely bananas.